Hey guys, what's up? LegendBTV here. Here to review the new album from Ed Sheeran called Divide. This new album is his third release, and ever since his first release, he's gotten pretty freaking big in the mainstream. He released probably one of the biggest songs of 2015 with Thinking Out Loud, and other songs like Don't, Sing, Photograph, and if you all remember Lego House from his first album, and that's a pretty great song in my opinion. Um, Honestly, I had a little distaste with Ed Sheeran because actually because of the song Thinking Out Loud. Like when it first came out, I thought it was decent, but you know, um, after like already after a few listens, it became just mediocre, and then soonly after, it just became terrible because they played it on the radio so much, and it was really disappointing to hear a song that boring played over and over because it's a nice song with the instrumentation and production just being this nice acoustic guitar vibe and just this nice little melody. It's like minimalist, but it's like nothing in your face, and it's nice to hear. But it just gets so boring with the cliche lyrics and the just the overplay. Like the fact that they overplayed it is just terrible in my opinion because it could have been a great song, but no, I can't stand it. Like if it comes on the radio again, I just turn the station. Anyways, he's back with his new album Divide, and first of all, before we get into the album proper, I would like to talk about why I was excited for Divide. First of all, let me tell you about the singles from this album. He released two songs from it, Shape of You and Castle on the Hill. First of all, I want to talk about Castle on the Hill because that was the closest that sounds like Ed's style from the first two albums. Honestly, the song's like all right. It's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. But honestly, like I felt like it's not anything special really. Like it's like it's some kind of like just a beat with like some basic melody with no not really much of a melodic texture to that one. There's a lot of songs on this album that feel like they have more of a melodic texture, which I always approve of, but this one really just doesn't. It just kind of feels like a song that he wanted to release like a double single on one day, so it just kind of feels like more of a filler. And then we get to Shape of You, which honestly I think is one of the best number one singles we've had in quite some time, to be honest. I mean, now I'm speaking of Billboard, but I mean this song's probably number one like everywhere at the moment. And but at the Billboard, it's currently number one, and it's probably the best number one since Starboy by The Weeknd, which that hasn't been that long ago, but still, their number ones usually aren't that great. I mean, we have like Chainsmokers and Halsey, Closer, ugh, but but yeah, and yeah, other number ones like Hello by Adele, which is another Thinking Out Loud. But anyways, Shape of You is honestly a really good song, even for a mainstream one. Like the beat is really catchy, and it's also a little bit of a departure from Ed's signature acoustic style, which like lots of fans would probably consider this a sellout, but I honestly think it's a pretty decently produced song. It's a like a catchy beat, and the only thing is like the lyrics are very generic. They're very generic. Uh, it's just like oh, I'm in love with your body. It's like we've heard this a million times before, but it's just kind of a nice little sing along for the radio. That just when you come on, you kind of want to sing along. Just some mindless fun there. On to the album proper. There is actually 16 tracks on this thing. 12 on the standard edition, 16 on the base deluxe edition. One take. All right. And honestly, overall, what I think of Divide by Ed Sheeran. Well, I think it goes. I think it goes pretty well. There's a lot of songs on here that I actually like. And I gotta say, Ed Sheeran definitely has a great voice. I definitely like his voice, and I like a lot of the styles used on this album, and the fact that it's not all acoustics is brilliant in my opinion. Like a lot of people be like, "Oh, he used electronic pop, sellout." No, 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 no. As long as it's still produced well and it's not like a blatant like really cash in thing, then I'll pretty much be okay with more electronic elements and other styles using the music because I mean, pretty much an all ballad acoustic album would get boring for me most of the time unless it's like a really good singer with some good hooks in it and basically something you could just remember. But honestly, like I'm glad there are some songs on here that are more upbeat, like some of the songs on Multiply, and like honestly, I want to start with the title track. It's got him spitting some fire bars. Like honestly, there's some freaking great bars on this track, and um, it really it has a great melody as well. Like it's some great freaking stuff there, and it's honestly one of my favorites on the whole album. Um, and then we get Shape of You, of course, which it is like I said, it's a great song, and I definitely really like it, and I can't see myself getting sick of this as quickly as I did Thinking Out Loud because Thinking Out Loud is just one of those songs that is just not catchy whatsoever. It's like it doesn't need to be on the radio where it's supposed to be catchy music that thrives, but honestly, a lot of this radio stuff is just getting so mid tempo, it just hurts. And like stuff like "I Don't Want to Live Forever" by Zayn and Taylor Swift. And that song just sucks in my opinion, but yeah. So, um, honestly, like when we get further into the album, it's just kind of like the theme is kind of the same throughout the album. It's like just about love and pretty much his feelings towards either his girlfriend or probably past girlfriends. I don't know, but honestly, it pretty much keeps the same theme throughout the album until we get to this closing track on the standard edition about apparently his grandma and how she passed. I heard and everything, and that's actually a really nice song with a good piano melody backing it up, and also of course a good voice from Sheeran, a good performance there in the vocals of that song. Honestly, uh, um, there's a couple of songs that I'm just feeling are just mediocre. Like Dive is honestly just a mediocre song. Um, like there's just some of them that are just not memorable, and that one's just one of them. And there's a few that just like they kind of they're like all right, but they kind of get lost in the sea of the more memorable songs. So a few of them do end up being just kind of fillers, and I definitely feel like with repeated listens, they might grow on me or they might just continue to be fillers. But I just don't think those like a few songs on here, like the one I just mentioned, are really that memorable to me. And that's like, that's kind of expected because there are 16 songs here. And I mean, it is mainstream music. So, yeah, of course, it's probably not going to be like every song is like freaking amazing because, the label um, just doesn't really want amazing music. They want like usually mediocre music because that's what sells, unfortunately. But anyways, um, so there's also like when Shape of You came out, and I figured like the album would be like a bunch of like pop styled new trend fashions and stuff. And just to my surprise, it's not, and I'm glad it's not all just a bunch of electronic mainstream pop because like if it was, then that would have been a little bit of a sellout in my opinion. Like just on its own, even if the music was great, that would have been pretty much a cash in. Which a lot of people say Shape of You is just a sellout cash in, but like maybe it is. I mean, it's just mindless fun though. I mean, something has to be a single off this thing, or else Ed Sheeran wouldn't get a hit. So yeah, but overall, I definitely recommend you get the deluxe edition. Um, and basically, like the deluxe edition, basically starts off with two tracks that are like really different style. They're like got some different kind of melodies and just different styles of music into these tracks, and it's like pretty lit. But and then we get and they're upbeat as well. They're up two upbeat tracks start the deluxe edition 13, 14, and then we get track 15 where it just kind of slows down a little, and then the final track is like really slow. Like the first two tracks in the deluxe are like fast, and it gets like mid tempo, and then we end on a ballad that is actually pretty genuine sounding. Like what I like about this album is it feels very genuine. Like it actually feels like the record company isn't trying to sink um their money grubbing claws into this guy that much, and that's great because um we really need more genuine music like this out there. I'm not sure like if all this is like completely genuine. I mean, it could just be a bunch of manufactured garbage, but but it just kind of feels like with the emotional delivery and some of these lyrics that it sounds pretty genuine throughout. Especially with the guitars and the instruments, feeling like giving this album some pretty decent amount of flavor and texture to it, which I always approve of. I feel like at the worst of this album could be a bit like this album is a bit basic at its worst. Like there's nothing bad on this album, I don't think at all. But the problem is I would texture up some of these songs a bit more, like Dive for instance. But overall, I definitely think like there's nothing this album isn't anything spectacular, but I definitely think it's good. I definitely like it. I would give it a light to decent 7 on this thing. Thank you guys for watching my review of Ed Sheeran's Divide, and I definitely recommend getting the deluxe edition. So definitely get that because there's other songs that you'll love, and you'll just pretty much miss out if you don't get the deluxe edition. So um, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you.